What is up, Unbroken Nation? Today we're going to talk about the front squat. The front squat is one of my favorite movements. It's an awesome mass builder for your upper back and for your quads. But unfortunately, it requires more mobility than most exercises, so it's easy to not live up to your potential with a front squat. Typically, you can back squat more than you can front squat. This means that your legs are really, really strong, but what limits people with a front squat is really their upper body. So today we're going to cover the upper body limitations with a front squat, starting with the wrist. The weight's going to fall forward. So here are a few drills that I like to do to improve your wrist extension mobility. First, getting in that front rack position, you want your hands just a little bit outside your shoulders, right? So this is one of my favorite ones. You get one of these strong bands, attach it to the rig, mimic like you're going in the front rack position, put the band where your bar would be placed, and just pull and get that stretch. Hold it for a few seconds. Because here it could be your joint that's limiting you, or your forearm muscles are really tight. And when you ask your forearm muscles to do this and bend your fingers backwards, then that's when they get stretched out the most. This next drill, it'll be on the floor. Keep your arms straight and just lean forward like so. So this would target more of the joint limitations. There's a lot of little bones in your wrist, and it's easy to get restricted in that area. And also, what you can do is put your hands flat on the ground like this with your biceps facing outwards and just lean back like so. And just smile. So all these drills will help with the wrist extension mobility. Next would be the deltoid strength. So when you have the bar here and you need to lift it up to get in that comfortable, efficient position, that's pretty much me doing this motion right here. Plus, you need your upper traps to be working so your shoulder blades don't sag downwards. So let me grab the bar again. So I have it here, and for me to be able to lift my elbows up, I need to be able to activate my deltoids and keep it up there. So that's a lot of the exercises that we do. They're very deltoid dominant, you know, the bench press, the shoulder press, overhead stuff. But one that would specifically target the anterior deltoid and the upper trap would probably be just front raises. So I'm going to show you an exercise, really simple, straight to the point, just to strengthen your deltoids a little bit if you're having problems raising your elbows up. Very common bro workout, but just having dumbbells in your hands and just alternating and lifting just like this. So it targets a lot of the anterior deltoids and the upper trap, just to help you get that a little bit. So another way you can work on the front deltoid strength and endurance is by holding kettlebells. So just clean it here, you're almost in that front rack position, hold your elbows up like so. And after about 30 seconds, you're gonna start feeling the burn, and you're getting a little bit of mobility work in your wrist as well. Next, we're going to go over the lats. So what the lats like to do is bring your arm down and turn them inwards. So when you have this position, that's the lats working really hard. After your lats are tight, it prevents the front rack position because that's the complete opposite, where you're trying to raise your arm up and turn it outwards like this. And so here's a quick assessment that I like to do on my athletes to see if lats are going to be the cause of why they can't get their elbows up. Because especially when you're loaded, every little bit helps, and if you're lacking that lat mobility, you're not going to get up there. So while Cynthia is on the ground, so raise both your arms up, and you're going to turn your palms upwards. So by externally rotating, she's tightening the lats already, and then you're just going to try to touch the floor. So there's asymmetry here. This one having a hard time getting to the ground over there, so it's going to be a little bit tighter. And she actually has pretty good mobility. But with some people, you'll notice that this one is raised up, and this one can touch the floor. And if they're having problems on this side, I'll probably target the latissimus dorsi muscle. So let me show you a few stretches that you can do at home to improve the mobility of your lats. So for tight lats, this is one of my favorite mobility movements, and also it stretches out the lats perfectly. You're just going to take one of the dowels and have a bench or anything flat. You can put your elbows on. You're on your knees, and you're just going to lean back like so. So there's a few modifications you can make for this exercise. Like you can pull out wider if you're lacking that external rotation in your shoulder. So then you can go into the stretch and hold. Lastly, a common mistake that people make with this stretch is they keep their middle back straight. So they'll hold here, middle back straight, and they'll go into it. But you're not going to be able to stretch the lats that well when you do that, so you have to actually make a hunchback, like arch it away from you, and then lean forward like so. Just the way the lat attaches, it's just a way better stretch for it. So give that one a try if you have time. Next, there's a reason why they call the front squat a big upper back exercise, and that's because when you go down into the hole, you're going to need a lot of your upper back muscles to keep your arms up and supported so it doesn't dip down and you fail in your front squat. So just to demonstrate a little bit and give you a little bit of visual, let me get Cynthia in here to demonstrate with the bar. I'm going to measure her shoulder flexion, which is pretty much this motion right here. So at standing, just static, we're at about 92 degrees. And then if you use her elbow as a point of reference, when she goes down in her squat, her elbow stays the same and her trunk's going to lean backwards or lean forwards, so that ends up you having to flex your shoulder a little bit more. So go down into your front squat and then pull back. Okay, come back up. So that's about 105 degrees of shoulder flexion, and you can rack it. Thank you, Cynthia. And so that's what helps your deltoid move the weight upwards, is going to be your shoulder blade muscles, which we'll cover in another video. And lastly, front squatting is a common cause of back pain, and that's because when people get to the bottom of the front squat and they don't have enough mobility, they'll start to arch their lower back as a compensation to help them get the weight up. So let's have Cynthia one more time demonstrate this faulty movement. Reps total. Back up. Maybe I'll show you. So just to help her keep the weight more upright, she's going to arch her lower back, which lets you vulnerable for a little bit of back pain. So there's a few drills that you can focus on as accessory work to focus on that hip hinge to make sure that you have the proper motor control and strength to hold that position at the bottom of the front squat and your back isn't arching. So putting a dowel in your lower back, just to make sure you're getting the movement more in your hips and not in your lower back. So now we have Cynthia here about to perform this deadlift exercise, but with tempo of 3 seconds on the way down and 1 second on the way up. So come back up, keep your back straight, 3 seconds on the way down. She's maintaining that and working her erector spinae and her lumbar extensors a little bit better. And working on that control on the way down. And one more. 3 seconds, slow, controlled. And come back up. Good. Sometimes you're just born with a lack of mobility, and no matter how much you stretch or do mobility work, you're just not going to get it. So a simple compensation, if you can't get to that clean position, is just to do the cross arm position, and this is pretty common, and you know, some people have lifted really heavy weight with this position. So just cross over like this, hold the bar, and go down into it. Also, if you don't have the mobility and you're too restricted with the barbell, what you can do is train with dumbbells. So hold that in that same kind of front rack region and on top of your deltoids. Just like that. And the center of mass will be similar, that you're going to be training similar muscles. You're just not going to be able to hold that clean position. So those were just the most common strength and mobility deficits that I've seen. And hopefully the drills that I've shown you can help you out in your front squat performance. Just remember that if you're feeling pain with them, stop and find a coach or a trainer that can help correct your movement by watching you personally. And if you have pain that doesn't go away and it's nagging, feel free to contact us at unbrokenrehab.com. Link will be in the description there. And if you like this video, just feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos just like this to come in the future.